Welcome back to the front line, where the weak get fleeced and the smart stay strapped. Dating in the Philippines isn't a rom-com, it's a high-stakes poker game where you're betting with your retirement fund. If you think that sweet Filipina girl in Makati loves your personality more than your passport, you've already lost the hand. Listen close, because I'm handing you the ultimate war manual to navigate this market. Pay attention or prepare to be the next walking ATM. You've been warned. Here are the brutal rules. I've seen men like you land in Manila with stars in their eyes and end up crying in a cheap guest house. I'm not some academic talking about sociology. I'm the veteran who's watched the cards fall in every bar from Angeles to Cebu. The risk isn't just a broken heart, it's total financial and emotional bankruptcy. In this jungle, intimacy is the final negotiating table where leverage is either seized or surrendered. You're playing against pros who've been mastering survival since birth. Don't be the amateur. You're likely a guy in your late 40s or 60s, fresh off a messy divorce or tired of the dry spells back home. You have some savings, a bit of time, and a massive hunger for that legendary Filipina submissiveness. You think you found a sanctuary, a reward for being a nice guy after years of toxic Western dating. But here's the cold truth. Your ego is your biggest enemy. You want to be the chosen one, but to her, you might just be a business plan. Every mahal kita whispered between the sheets has a price tag attached, and if you can't see the receipt, you're the one paying it. The bedroom isn't a refuge from the world. It's where the most tactical moves are made while your guard is down. These mistakes cost more than just pesos. They cost your dignity. You're navigating a minefield of utang na loob and family obligations that will drain you dry if you don't keep your frame. Stop dreaming and start calculating every single move. Think of your interactions as a series of bets at a high stakes table where the house always has an edge. You're holding a pair of jacks, but she's playing a full house of cultural pragmatism and survival instincts. One wrong move, one soft hearted promise, and your net worth starts leaking like a punctured boat in a typhoon. I'm here to make sure you're the one holding the cards, not the one being played by the dealer. This is war, and the spoils are your very survival. We are diving deep into the 6 strategic principles that separate the predators from the perpetual payers. If you want to keep your sanity and your bank account intact, you better burn these rules into your brain right now. The American charm you think you have is just paper thin armor against a woman who sees you as a pension plan. It's time to decide if you're the captain of your ship or just a passenger on a sinking wreck. Before we begin the list, ask yourself, do you want love, sex, or survival? You're walking into a literal urban minefield, and your ego is the shiny target. Don't think you're the only Kano with a pension in town. You're competing against thousands of other thirsty guys, making the market price for love skyrocket. I saw a guy named Dave, 65, thinking his good guy vibes made him special in the barrio. He ignored the tactical map and got flanked by a 20-year-old with a modest smile. He thought he was the general, but he was just an easy ambush. Pay attention now. Rule number 1 is the Maria Clara Mirage. That extreme shyness? It's not innocence. It's the provider admission exam. She's checking if you're a one-night tourist or a long-term investor. If she says, "I'm not that kind of girl," she's actually checking your bankroll. Think of it as a high-end casino requiring a tuxedo just to enter. If you try to bypass the modesty barrier with fast cash, you're just a customer, never the captain. You'll be treated like a palit transaction, not a partner. Don't be stupid. Rule number 2 is the financial orgasm. Her enthusiasm in the bedroom grows exactly when the roof stops leaking. It's not prostitution, it's emotional logistics. Think of your money as jet fuel. The pilot can't take off if the tank is empty, no matter how much discard you think you have. I knew a guy who cut the allowance, and suddenly his girl had a migraine for a month. It's pragmatic gratitude, honey. If the bills aren't paid, the mahal kita stops cold. You're looking at a total bedroom strike. Rule number 3 is the silent contract of utang na loob. For you, sex is a connection. For her, it's the start of a pension plan. Every night of pleasure is a deposit into a family fund. You're signing an insurance policy without reading the fine print while you're distracted by her beauty. Remember Mark? He thought he found a soulmate, then woke up 6 months later financing a nursing degree for a cousin he never met. That debt of gratitude is a trap set by the clan to drain your assets. You're pathetic if you think you're winning just because she's screaming your name. That's just asset retention engineering, and you're the gullible asset. You're being mapped out like a conquered territory while you're busy basking in the validation. But listen, those first 3 rules are just the basic training. That was the easy part of the jungle. If you think the debt of gratitude is bad, wait until you see how they use your own power against you. The next error doesn't just drain your wallet, it destroys your reputation and soul. Rule number 4 is the Trojan submissiveness. She bows, she serves, and she makes you feel like a god within those 4 walls, so you lower your drawbridge in the real world. You think you're the alpha because she's kneeling, but that's just her way of checking if your pockets are loose. If you make financial promises during that post-pleasure refractory period, you've already surrendered your fortress. A real captain never lets the heat of the moment dictate the route. Stop being a passenger in her taxi while she steers you toward her village. Rule number 5 is the hyperbolic feedback protocol. She'll look you in the eyes and swear you're the most pogy and powerful man she's ever encountered, even if you're 60 with a beer belly. This is pure asset retention engineering, honey. She's the expert car salesman telling you that you look like a movie star in a rusted sedan just to close the deal. Accept the ego boost, but stay in the gym and keep your eyes on the data. If you believe your own hype, you're officially blind to the next manipulation. Rule number 6 is runway awareness. The bedroom is the first place where the lights go out before the crash. When the service drops or she starts acting hiya or distant without a clear reason, your plane has nowhere to land. This tactile distancing is the signal that she's already fueling up a plan B with another thirsty kano. Monitor the frequency like a hawk. The moment the quality fades, you must cut the financial taps immediately. Don't wait for the explosion. See the red lights on the tarmac and eject early. Your biggest vulnerability isn't your bank account. It's your pathetic need for validation. You're so hungry for a real mahal that you ignore the discarte she's running right under your nose. I see men get giggle over a smile and sign over their dignity just to keep the fantasy alive. This internal craving is a leak in your ship's hull. If you can't control your own thirst, you'll always be the one paying for the water. Discipline your ego or prepare to be drained by a pro who smells your desperation a mile away. You have to decide right now. Are you the captain of this vessel or just a guy paying for a very expensive taxi ride to her family's debt? Most of you are just balikbayan tourists in your own relationships, letting her steer you toward a cliff because the view is pretty. Take the wheel, set the limits, and stop negotiating from a position of weakness. You've been playing with your heart, but it's time to play with your head. Because listen close, the game changes completely when you finally stop negotiating with hope. Stop acting like a victim of Pinay magic and start operating like the CEO of your own desires. We're done with the diagnosis. Now we're moving into the flight tower. To survive the Manila market, you need a cold, binary framework that removes all that mahal static from your signal. Think of your intimacy as a high-stakes runway. Before you even think about full throttle, every light on the tarmac must be green. If there's a single flickering bulb, you abort the mission immediately. No exceptions, no excuses, no, but she's different. The first step is the purity filter. When she plays the Maria Clara card, don't reach for your wallet to speed things up. That's a trap for losers. Instead, test her patience against your presence. If she sticks around without a hospital emergency or a broken phone for 3 weeks while you only offer time and attention, she's past the first gate. But the moment she drops a Gcash request before the third date, you eject. That's a pay to play model, and you're looking for a partnership, not a subscription. Once you've reached the bedroom, you're at the final negotiating table. This is where most Kanos crash their planes. Your rule here is the refractory freeze. After the performance, when she's acting all submissive and sweet, your mouth stays shut regarding finances. If she asks for a loan while you're still catching your breath, that's a red alert on your dashboard. A real captain never signs a contract while his brain is swimming in dopamine. Treat her affection as a bonus, never as a leverage point for her family's debt. Next, you monitor the service to support ratio with surgical precision. If her bedroom enthusiasm spikes only after you pay the electricity bill, you aren't a boyfriend, you're a utility company. Real discarda means keeping the allowance fixed and watching if the quality fluctuates. If she starts getting migraines the week you don't buy her a new iPhone, the engine is failing. Don't try to fix the plane midair with more cash. Recognize the pattern, accept the reality of the transaction, and prepare your parachute. You must remain detached. Finally, realize that a runway is only useful if it leads somewhere. If the lights on your tarmac go dark, meaning she gets distant or hiya without reason, you don't wait for the impact. You cut the funding and walk away before the drama starts. This isn't being cruel, it's being operational. You've got the framework now, but having the map isn't the same as walking the jungle. Grab your notebook and clear your head, because the next phase is pure field execution. You're about to learn how to dominate the ground. You're standing at the ping pong table of Manila life, and the balls are flying at you like shrapnel. 1 second she's whispering sweet nothings, the next she's crying about her mother's operacion, while her Gcash is suspiciously empty. If you just react to every hit, you're playing her game, not yours. You're lunging for the ball without keeping your feet planted, and that's when you trip over your own desperation. Every giggle moment is a test of your position. Don't just swing, anticipate the spin before it even touches your side. Suddenly, the financial orgasm goes cold because you didn't finance her brother's tuition. This is the multi-front war I warned you about, Kano. She's using the bedroom as a blockade while her hiya acts as a smokescreen. Most guys fold here because they can't handle the silence or the lack of validation. They trade their long-term strategy for a single night of peace, signing over their dignity just to stop the ping-pong paddle from stinging. You must stay cold. If the service stops, the funding stops. It's a binary transaction, honey. This is your investor collapse moment, where your emotions try to bail out a failing asset. She'll look at you with those kawawa eyes, making you feel like a monster for following the manual. This is the ultimate discard, weaponized pity. If you flinch now, you're just another passenger on a sinking banca. A real CEO looks at the data, not the drama. You see the lights flickering on the runway and you don't pray for a miracle. You prepare for the eject. Your survival depends on your ability to say no while she's still looking beautiful. But look at the guys who stayed strapped to the rules. They didn't lose their retirement fund to a Maria Clara mirage. By keeping their frame, they forced the market to adjust to them. When you stop being a desperate buyer, she has to become a better partner to keep her spot on your team. The ping pong match slows down because you've mastered the rhythm. You gain the power to walk away, and that's the highest leverage you'll ever have in the Philippines. True dominance isn't about being mean, it's about being absolutely unshakable. The game is ending and the smoke is clearing from the battlefield. You've seen the traps, the metaphors, and the cold logic of the jungle. You either command the table or you become the feast for the clan. There's no middle ground in Manila. There's only the captain and the casualty. You've been tested in the fire of high-stakes intimacy, and now you know the cost of every mahal kita whispered in the dark. Listen to the final law of the frontline. Love may be blind, but your bank statement needs 20/20 vision. Don't blink now. We've reached the end of the patrol, and you're no longer that same Kano who landed with a heart full of fantasies and a wallet ready to bleed. You've seen the final negotiating table for what it truly is, a tactical arena where your dignity is the stakes. Stop being the guy who buys the performance and start being the man who owns the theater. If you've been paying for a mahal that feels like a subscription, your transformation into the captain begins right now. Think of yourself as the bee and her intimacy as the flower. In nature, the flower doesn't just open because the bee is nice. It opens when the timing is right and the value is undeniable. If you're buzzing around desperately, throwing pesos just to get a sniff of the nectar, you're not a bee, you're a pest. Master your timing, maintain your pogi frame, and let the Maria Clara mirage fade. When you stop acting thirsty, the garden finally belongs to you and not the other way around. The jungle doesn't forgive the sentimental, so memorize this final law. Love may be blind, but your bank statement needs 20/20 vision. Don't let the financial orgasm or the Trojan submissiveness trick you into signing away your future. If you felt like you were just a walking ATM, it's time to reboot your system. The cost of ignorance is your retirement. The price of power is your constant discipline. Stay sharp, because in Manila, the only sanctuary is your own unshakable frame. If you're ready to stop being the prey, comment "frame" below and let the community know you're taking back the wheel. Hit like, subscribe, and support this frontline mission with a super thanks or via PayPal so we can keep the lights on for the next patrol. Don't let another 24 hours pass without resetting your boundaries. Execute your new rules tonight. Maintain control, maintain the frame, and never let them see you blink. See you on the next patrol. Out.